Hey, welcome back to the channel. So, for those of you interested in Kindle Vella, I have good news. They've just recently updated their content guidelines from really crappy to not bad. If you're familiar with what the original policy was that they wanted to make sure that readers, in order to have an exclusive experience, they wanted authors to make sure that they publish brand new original content that's exclusive to the platform, and the only other place that you could publish your work would be like other paywall sites like Radish or something of that nature. But they did not want freely available content online, and so they didn't want you to break down. And the other thing is they did not want you to break down your previously published book. In the event that if a reader, they pay the 1,700 or the $15 for the 1,700 token package, decide to check out your book, they get to episode 4, having the memory that we all have, which is not much of a memory at all, and they keep on reading and they start cashing in those tokens to see where the story's going, and then eventually they realize, wait a minute, I think I've read this before. That's not really the right time to realize you've already read this. And so what Vella wants is they want to prevent us from giving them content they've already read. So they don't want us to upload public domain content or content that's freely available or so on. So that's why they had all the rules. But one of the egregious rules, in my opinion, and probably a lot of readers' opinions, or writers rather, is that once it's on Vella, the only way you can make, let's say, a paperback or ebook or anything of that nature is to first unpublish it. And the problem with that is if a reader is in the middle of reading your book, and again, they've cashed in their tokens, then they're going to lose access to the rest of your book that they've already invested in. And that sucks for them and for you, because now your name's going to be tarnished. And apparently Amazon, they've listened. They've heard the complaints. They've listened to the author feedback, and they realize, yeah, you know what, that could be easily abused too. And so they've updated their terms, and they've given us something that's much more reasonable and probably nice. I would say acceptable, maybe even worth trying out the platform. So if you're not familiar with the Vella platform, just to kind of reiterate, it's going to be optimized for mobile reading. It's going to be on the website app. Like you're not going to, it's not going to be on Kindle proper. It's going to be through Amazon's whole system there, and that's going to alienate a lot of potential readers, including people like me, where I would never read this platform. Like I don't mind writing for it. I'll write on any platform, but as a reader, I prefer paperbacks. I'll read an ebook, but I don't particularly love reading ebooks. I like my paperbacks. And so something like Vella, I would never use personally as a reader. But there are readers out there who will. So, certainly there's a market for it. But I'm thinking in terms of those readers like me who want a good story as a paperback or ebook or whatever. Like, as a writer, as an author, I want to be able to give them that opportunity without having to alienate yet another group like the people who actually like Vella. So again, Vella listened, and not to me, but they've listened to the community, and so they've changed their terms. So if you remember Blockbuster Video, back when it was a thing, employees, and I know this from experiences. I worked there as an employee for 4 years. We had the ability to rent videos for free, up to 5 a week, as long as either they were pre-release, meaning they weren't actually on the shelves yet. So what happened was a lot of times. Not all, a lot of times, all the time, we would get the shipments of the new videos for the shelf about 3 or 4 days before they were supposed to go on the shelf. And so for that weekend, we could go check it out. And that was a way for the company to allow us to recommend the new releases that we might not have seen in the theaters, whereas the system prior to that was worse. But once it went on the shelf, we had to wait 30 days before we could check it out again, unless we wanted to pay for it. And most of us didn't want to pay for it because they were expensive. As Blockbuster, you paid like $5-6 for a new release, and you had to bring it back in a couple of days. Even though we worked there, we had to show up anyway. It was still it rushed us to watch. Whereas the other library releases, we had them for the full duration, and if we waited 30 days, then we can get those for free and up to 5 a week. And anyway, Vella has a similar system now where you may produce your Vella content as an ebook, paperback, whatever, as long as your episodes have been live for 30 days. So that's what that's basically telling you here in the content page. And I would definitely recommend you guys read for clarity. It's going to be on the If you go to Kindle Vella, KDP Publishing Vella, Kindle Vella, actually, you know what, I'll post the link in the description. Just click on the link in the description and you read it for yourself. But you want to read carefully. The caveats here is that you must have at least 10 episodes of content before you can make a book. You must have, so that means you need at least a minimum of 6,000 words for the content. The thing you have to pay really close attention to is the idea that they only allow you to do this for one book. That's not what I wanted. It's in one of these here. Basically, you may publish it as long as it's for, here it is. Kindle Vella episode may only be republished in one book or other long-form format, i.e. you cannot publish episode 10 in 2 different books. For novelists, I don't think this is going to be a problem, because why would you need to do more than one version of a book? And I mean, like, you know, revision 1, revision 2, or anniversary edition, things like that. I don't think this means you can only do ebook or paperback. I think you can still do all the formats. They're not claiming differently. So what they actually mean is IP. If you know, Harry Potter, you know, there's one version of Harry Potter in the either the Philosopher's Stone or Sorcerer's Stone, depending on where you live. If she re-releases it as a new edition, that cannot be done if you do if you take Vella content. Once you take the Vella content, you can put it in one book and then that's it. And if you want to put it in a second book, then you have to unpublish it from the platform. I don't think that's unreasonable. I think that, you know, if you are that determined to do more content, then, I mean, why are you even on Vella? Just, you can update your previous content. I don't know. You decide what to do is best. But I think it's, at least it's given us leeway to be able to adopt our content to all of our potential readers. So I think that's fair. Where it gets a little dicey for me is the idea of the thing I was just highlighting. You can see the latest publication date for episodes on your Story Manager page. If you go to the Story Manager page, you'll notice that in mine I've got 8 episodes. This one's coming out on Friday. The other 7 are already produced, but you're going to notice a little bit of a wonkiness in the release dates. With particular, what I've highlighted here for the episode 1, published June 14th. Well, episode 2 is May 23rd. Well, how is that even possible? Well, if you've seen my other videos, you'll know that I actually published episode 1 in April, I think April 22nd. But I've actually had to update it because I've, you know, put in new content. I've revised a few things in order for some of these other episodes to work, which is what we do a lot of times when we're writing on the fly. And that means that the publication date has changed. And what I'm reading about the content guidelines is it sounds like it's 30 days off the publication date, which means I think that includes revisions. I'm not sure for, you know, I don't have 100% certainty. But I would say, to play it safe, what I would do is, before you make a book of your Vella content, I would make sure, A, your story is absolutely finished, as in you're not going to work on it anymore. And then you base the book off of the most recent publication date of any of your episodes. So if I'm producing, let's say, I'm going to do 27 episodes most likely of this book. If episode 27, it comes out sometime in September or October, which I think is about what I have planned, then I would say 30 days off of that, as long as I don't make any revisions to anything else after the final episode is produced, then I would be able to release the book. So by Christmas time, I should be able to have a paperback version of the story. That's what my takeaway is from their new content guidelines. So I hope that clarifies things for you guys. Again, the language makes it sound like that's the way it works. Whether or not that's actually how it works, I wish they had saved the original publication date and then just published the revisions kind of in secret, like they do on the regular Kindle store. But it doesn't look like they're doing it that way. So I would be very mindful about this date before you do any publication content for any other version of the book. So just be aware of that. Other than that, I think it's fair what they're doing. And so hopefully you guys think it is too. So that's it for now. You can read the whole complete guidelines on what they're doing. They do want you to be sure that you're aware that this does not take effect until the store goes live. If you haven't been in the news, it will go live sometime in mid to late July. That's official now. They haven't given us an exact date, but they've given us a general region of mid to late July. So I would say do not plan to release your paperback until at the very earliest late August. Maybe even early September. That's going to be the earliest of your safety zone. But realistically, probably none of us will be ready that soon. So I would say just bear that in mind. If you finish the story before the thing goes open and you don't do any more revisions, you're still accountable to that first day of release as day one. So it won't be before end of August that you'll be eligible. But just bear that in mind. They've also clarified their tags. So if you're not familiar with tags, they're based on categories. If you've used Wattpad or even Smashwords, you know that the tag is a category where your book will fit. It's different from genre. They have to actually be looking for the tag. They have to actually physically type it in. So like one of mine is 80s teen angst. If they want to type in 80s teen angst, then they're going to find my book. But if they don't, if they're not looking for that, then my book may not show. In which case they'll have to appear in the general genre. And they've and I've been reading it through the chat, and apparently they are listening to author feedback about genres. There's not enough, and I've made that clear in the original episode I recorded for this. There are a lot of people who have recommended new adult, which is what I think my story technically fits into. So if they do add that category, I'll be changing my classification. For now it's young adult, but it's right there on the line, so I don't think I'm necessarily going to disappoint young adult readers, but it really should be new adult. And I do think Vella, they're going to update that at some point with new genres, so be on the lookout for that. And regarding territories, they know that readers from Canada and others, they want in on this, so I don't think it'll be long after the launch that they'll start producing to other nations. They're beginning with the United States, but I doubt it'll take them long to get it to other markets. So if you are in another market, just hang in there, your day is coming. I would just start writing now and be ready to produce as soon as they open the store. But yeah, you have flexibility now, which is great. So if you don't particularly like the idea of limiting your readers to just a mobile reader browser through the Amazon system, I mean, like me, I don't particularly want to read on that system. You'll have your options now, so that's good. So anyway, I just want to give you guys that update. You may already know, and if that's the case, then congratulations, you're in the know. But anyway, just read this page for full, complete clarity, and then you can also go to the discussion page for any other news coming. So that's it for today. Thanks for watching. Do make sure you come back this Friday for the next episode of The Writer's Bookshelf, where we'll be covering another thesaurus by Angela Ackerman and Bella Puglisi. And then just do the subscription thing, do the bell thing, do all the things YouTubers tell you to do. Help me get these numbers up, because the more y'all come back, the more other people will also get information. So that's always nice. But that's it for today, and thanks for watching, and I hope you guys decide that now is a good time to start on this if you haven't already. So I think it'll be good now that they've given us this flexibility. So the TDLR version, you can now produce paperbacks and ebooks of your Kindle Vella content as long as you wait 30 days after the final publication, and you include at least 10 episodes and all that. So there you go. All right, thanks for watching. Bye.